everyone, Cyber here, bringing you guys the first part of what if Deku was given off for one. I don't want to waste any time, so let's begin, shall we? We begin the story with Izuku Midoriya, age 10, walking home from school. Now everything up till the point of canon has happened to Deku, being discouraged for being quirkless, etc. But as he's walking home, he is looking around himself, his surroundings. Seeing heroes patrolling around the streets, the people walking around happy, and the sun is shining brightly, with not a cloud in the sky. It could not be a more perfect day. But as Deku was walking, everyone suddenly felt the ground shook, and then a loud air pressure explosion echoed in the distance. Oh, sorry. Huh? What's going... And suddenly, a person crashed into the road next to Deku. Deku looks over to see it was All Might in the crater. All Might? Stay back! Suddenly, a man with white hair and wearing a suit crashes into All Might. Oh, come now, All Might. Surely you have more than that. You're a Detroit Smasher! All Might hits the man with a smash, sending him back, and everyone around him as well away. And when Deku gets pushed back by the air pressure, he hits his head on the ground and starts to lose consciousness as he hears laughter and screaming all around him. People screaming as well, until he finally blacks out. As we cut to when Deku finally wakes up, all he sees around him is dust and destruction. Deku then sits up and sees the building around him that once stood tall in piles of rubble. The bright sky is now clouded by all the dust and ash that kicked up by the fight. And what Deku saw in front of him was a gigantic crater, most likely created by the two men. What happened? All Might? Anybody? Deku keeps looking around the once clean streets, now in ruins. He's covered in dirt and a bit of blood from his own head wound. Sorry guys, I'm tired, but I'm still gonna do this. He does this until he sees two dead bodies on the ground. One of them was All Might. All Might! He runs over to check on them and sees black metallic tendrils stabbed in his chest. The other body from the other body. As Deku moves his hand to check All Might's neck to check on a pulse, but feels nothing. All Might was dead. Deku took a step back in shock as he saw the symbol of everyone, lying there dead in the dirt, covered in blood. And as Deku takes a step back, he trips over the other dead body of the villain who attacked All Might. And when Deku looked at the body, he was horrified. He saw the villain's face, or what was left of the face, as he saw the skull of the villain completely caved in, his eyes hanging out of the sockets, and what looked like brain leaking out of the cracks of the skull and skin. In the blood. So much blood, Deku couldn't hold it in anymore. He vomited on the ground in disgust and horror at the sight. Come on now. It isn't that bad. Oh, how? Deku falls down and scoots backwards. when you have as many quirks as me, you tend to be able to do the impossible. The villain coughed up blood as Deku continues to scoot back. Stay back. Calm down. I wasn't expecting it to end like this, but I was not expecting to give this away to a random person. Deku was confused as suddenly the man grabbed Deku by the face, and red sparks and energy passed from the man into him. As Deku feels a sharp pain, so powerful and great, he passed out, as the villain let go of Deku, letting his limp body fall to the ground. At least it will live on. And it still looks like I've outlived another user. The villain took his last breath and stopped breathing as he goes limp. A smile plastered on his face, knowing that he killed at least the last user of One for All. As then police and paramedics and other heroes arrived at the scene to see the dead body of All Might and the villain, but an unconscious and alive Deku still not there, as they took him to the hospital. As we now cut to him slowly waking up. Where am I? Oh, good, you're awake. You're currently in the hospital. How are you feeling? Deku looks towards the doctor who was there, checking on his vitals, to see that he's now in the hospital room. I'm feeling a bit tingly, I guess. Alright. Well, apart from a cut on your head and possible concussion, you seem to be fine. Apart from the holes in your palms of your hands. Deku looks at the doctor confused while he looks at his hands to see the holes the doctor was talking about. What happened? I didn't have these before. So, we're not sure that these are not injuries because skin shown it's part of your body. We believe this could be your quirk. A quirk? But I'm quirkless. That's what the record says, but it appears you were able to unlock it due to stress of the incident you were in. Stress? What would I be stressed about? It's like that. Deku remembers everything. The dead body of All Might and the villain who grabbed him in the face. Then nothing. All Might, is he? Unfortunately, All Might is no longer with us. So he's... Yes, he is dead. So, we found you next to him with the villain. But the villain was too strong for All Might. But the villain did not go unscathed either and died shortly after. I'll leave you for a moment. Police and investigators want to talk to you, and when you're ready, here are the details of your quirk. The doctor puts the files on the bedside table and walks out, leaving Deku to cry for several minutes till he finally comes out of bed and takes the file to look at it. The file's details the quirk as followed. Quirk, holes. Type, mutation. This quirk appears to simply leave holes in the subject's hand. What these holes are used for, they do not know. Wow, that's it. Deku didn't know what else to say, but as he looks at the holes in his hands in disappointment, the knock at the door turns him away from sudden quick awakening. So, as he looks up to see several police officers and a detective walk in. Hello, Izuku Midoriya. I'm Detective Namasa. I'm here to ask you a couple of questions if you don't mind. Yeah, of course. Ask away. First, I want to say I'm sorry you had to experience what you did. Says, but I do need you to explain the events of the battle and how it happened. Right. It was a normal day. I was walking from home, but when the fight got close to me, All Might threw a smash and the air pressure knocked me back and I blacked out. When I woke up, everything was destroyed and I saw All Might dead and the villain. I checked on All Might, but he was dead. The villain was alive. The villain talked for a couple of seconds. I didn't really listen. I was too scared, but then he suddenly grabbed me by the face and I felt a lot of pain and I woke up here. I see. I'm sorry to hear that. It's fine, sir. Well, that's all I needed to know. Your mother should be here soon to pick you up. You're discharged from the hospital after this. Right, thank you. Now, Monster and the rest of the police left the room. As Deku lay back in his bed and looked at his hands. All Might is dead. And I finally got a quirk. A quirk that like the name that everyone gave me. Completely useless. He sighs as he turns on the TV. And all the TV was playing was All Might's death and the destruction from the fight. And about how crime skyrocketed after the news of All Might's death. But something Deku wasn't expecting was to see him on the news coverage, being told that he was also in the scene of the crime. As he sighs and turns off the TV, Inko busts in the room and hugs his son. Izuku! Mom, are you okay? Are you hurt? Inko quickly checks his son as he just tears up. I'm not hurt, but All Might, Mom. I know. So Inko hugs his son and wipes away the tears. All Might was a good man who helped hundreds, if not thousands. And I'm sorry you had to see your idol like that. I assure you, he wouldn't want you to be sad, Izuku. Okay. Come on, let's go home. It says, I'm sure Endeavor will also bring the peace back soon. So, it's becoming a bit of a ride out there. Okay. Deku gets up and grabs all his belongings. With him also seeing his favorite All Might toy within his bag, he gets a little sad. They both leave the hospital room, and on the drive home, Inko wasn't lying. Thugs and other shady characters started to show up on the streets, even a few fights with a few heroes. But they did not stand a chance with the overwhelming numbers. Deku was shocked with All Might only just died and the streets are already looking chaotic. It's like the symbol of peace never existed. And Deku had a bad feeling about how the world will be as we cut to the next day, where we see him walking into class to find the whole class staring at him, which was weird since they never really paid much attention to him. Hi? Is something wrong? Everyone stayed silent until Bakugo stood up, slowly to walk over to Deku with tiny explosions in his palm of his hands. Is something wrong? Is something wrong? You damn bastard, Deku! So Bakugo released an explosion that sent Deku back into the blackboard in front of the classroom. As Deku caution hold on to his chest, he looks up at his tormentor. We all saw the news, the reports. You were on the scene of the crime of All Might's death. Damn you, you worthless Deku! All Might would have never lost, yet alone to a stupid villain in a tux. The reason All Might died is because of you. See, he was probably protecting your worthless ass. You're the reason All Might is dead. Bakugo grabbed Deku by the collar of his shirt and lifted him up. As Deku looked up at the tormentor to be in shock of his bully's ex-best friend's face, seeing tears go down his face. As Bakugo reels back his fist, ready to punch Deku, until a teacher quickly pulls him off of him. That is enough, says, get back. It's all your damn fault, Deku. More teachers arrive as Bakugo tries to fight off the teachers, but he gets pulled away and out of class. As Deku lies there on the wall, as class continues to stare at him with hate and malice. As Deku wanted to explain himself, but even he knows there's no way to convince them. Thus, after this, the class continue with some more or less distractions. Classes had to stop several different times because of riots and villains that attack in the streets. This was the end of age of All Might, and now into an age of where no one knows where exactly. But with the birth of a new age, school had to be cut short, and Deku went home. As on the walk back home, things he never thought he'd see before was simple gangs and thugs starting to pop up left and right in his areas. Few eyed him on while he's walking home. So Deku ran as fast as he could, praying he didn't get anyone's attentions. He didn't want to, but when he got home, he slammed on the door and locked it up. But that didn't even make him feel safe, so he put up a chair in front of the door handle to make sure no one can get in just in case. But even then, he's still worried. He sighs and dumps his bag onto the floor as Inko rushes in to check over him. Good, you're safe. Yeah. Looks like things aren't going to get any better. Well, the school called and said this might be a daily thing for a while. At least until Endeavor officially takes the #1 spot. Deku thinks. Endeavor, that's right. He will be the next #1 hero. Maybe he can get things back on track, hopefully. Right. I'm going to go to bed. I'm tired. Okay, sweetie. I'll go back to work. They have me working from home right now. They have all of us right now. Deku walks off to his room as Inko goes back to work. As he hears more sounds of riots and destructions from outside. And when he walks into his room, he sees all the All Might posters and toys. And just feels, well, he doesn't know how to feel. But he tried to understand the emotions he's feeling. He suddenly hears gunshots and he drops to the floor, taking cover, but notices it wasn't at him or did the bullets stray close to his direction. So Deku slowly got up and checked the windows to see a few villains running around. And as he just closed the blinds and went to bed. As he just lays there listening to the world around him. The screams, the yelling, the laughter, the sounds of riots, quirks going off, and guns as well. But eventually, he dozed off. Rather, if it was due to any actual being tired or stress, he did eventually sleep. But when he opened his eyes, he saw he was in a black void. He tries to speak, but he sees his mouth and the rest of his body is covered by a black mist, except for his hand and the top part of his head. As he looks around to see the villain in front of him that fought All Might. As the man reaches out to him, but he suddenly woke up, breathing heavily. What were once emerald green eyes was now ruby red ones, along with his green hair turning white. 4 years later, and I'm still having the same nightmare. Deku sits up and brushing his face in his hands, as he properly wake himself up. And as usual, the sounds of villains and gunshots could be heard as Deku looks out the window that had now metal bars to see normal villains walking around and thugs harassing everyday people. So, as he just starts and closes the blinds, as he starts to get ready, but knowing better to wear his school uniform, he wears a more fitting clothing of a black hoodie and some baggy pants. To at least blend in. He does pack his school uniform within his bag, however. Before he leaves, he looks at himself in the mirror and sighs to himself. The doctor said this new look is probably because of his quirk. They kept analyzing him again and again, but couldn't figure out what it was. They figured it had to be more than just holes in his hands, but it was like this quirk was either too powerful or dormant for some reason. But that wasn't the weirdest part to him, as he looks almost exactly like the villain that killed All Might. He tried to dye his hair and stuff, but it never sticks. It only for a day or so. So he just has to suffer through the new look he has. Not even resembling his own mother, nor either his father, which he hasn't even seen in over many years. Bye, Mom. I'm leaving. Okay, sweetie, stay safe. Remember, stay away from Wolfram's territory. I just heard they got into scrape with the Yakuza again. Alright, I will. He walks out the door and pulls up his hood. As he walks down the streets to make sure to stay clear of any alleyways, he doesn't want to become victim of any kind of robbery or gone wrong or mugging. As Deku's walking, he hears a few gunshots and sees a few trash cans on fire as villains surround them and count out the money, passing off trigger and very popular drug that the Yakuza has been selling in droves. Eventually, he walked past a electronics shop and sees a news report that caught his eye. This month, heroes on patrol in Mosutofu are as followed: Mount Lady, Comrie Woods, and Death Arms. Last month's heroes will be leaving from here to go back to the Hero Association headquarters as we speak to get some rest. This batch of heroes are less than the last one, unfortunately, so be aware the villain activity will up even further this month in Mosutofu. Villain activity upping here is an understatement. 3 heroes. Most cities get 30. I guess they can't spread anymore. It's manpower on the slums of Japan, I guess. Deku starts to walk away from the electronics shop so he doesn't stay in one place at a time. The world has truly changed for the worst. After one day, All Might's death and the villains ran rampant around the streets. Many heroes tried to combat them, but said that wasn't going to be enough. So, in a year time, the Hero Committee had to make some cutbacks in hero schools. Those who weren't making great strides for heroes closed down, Many of the middle to high ranking schools like UA had to cut back on heroics to meet the new hero standards. The number of heroes declined in Japan and has been disturbed all around Japan. Stop prioritizing many of the cities, the major cities and other places, more than some of the other ones. Masaru hasn't been one of the lucky ones to get those many heroes. It's because it has become many of one of Yakuza territories, and has such had more villains around the streets. All around Japan was like this. What was once a crime rate of 5%, now became a 35%. Endeavor, the current number one hero for 4 years straight, now tries to get back the peace, but he wasn't All Might. As we cut to Deku arriving at school, where there were armed guards at the front gate, saw barbed wiring and metal bars on the windows. So he walked up and pulled out his school ID. They let him through, and when he arrived in class, there were only 7 to 9 students, including himself. Most of them moved away when villain activity became too much, or when they had enough money to move. Many others, like the Midoriya family, could not stay, or had to stay, due to lack of money or other said necessities. So, Deku sat down and waited for the teacher as they walked in. Not wearing a traditional suit and tie, but something to more blend in a vest a bulletproof vest just in case. These are the career aptitude sheets. Please fill them out and hand them back up to me. Classes will be cut short as usual. The teacher hands them out to all the students, who now fill them out. Deku, still picking the line of hero, decides to go to UA. Not many choose this line of work anymore. It doesn't seem to be a celebrity, as it once were, but nowadays it was more like a private military or even a police force in great strive. Sure, the more well-protected cities have those types of celebrity-based heroes, but still, despite that, there's a chance they have to go out to the slums like they are now. Deku walks up to the front desk and turns it into his sheet. The teacher gives it a quick glance and looks up at Deku with a worried look, but just waves him off. Back to his seat. Deku sits back down and starts to do some other classwork as we skip over to the afternoon, where we see 2 heroes, Ryuku and Nejire Hato, standing outside of the outskirts of the city. Masaru, the worst place to be in Japan, or if not one of the worst places. Oh, how did it get a reputation like that? After All Might's death, a old type of organization re-emerged in Israel, called a Yakuza. So, they grab onto the city and a few other, but this place became a breeding ground for other villains. This is why we're here, and our city is peaceful at the moment, but I think we should try to expand our services to this city for now. That's so great, Ryuku. Plus, didn't the news say there would only be 3 heroes here on patrol? Unfortunately, yes. Well then, let's add to those numbers and help this city. Glad to hear you. Not many heroes want to come to this place, but for good reasons, be careful while on patrol. Keep in contact with me within every hour. Right. They head on out to the city as we cut to Deku, who just got out of school and walking back home. he saw something surprising. A girl with bright blue hair flying over him, by the looks of it, in a hero costume. She wants to be a hero. Deku wants to walk back home, but he can't help his curiosity. Said the news only reported of 3 heroes. Nope. Said. And he really wants to fill out his hero notebook. It's one of the many things that he still enjoys doing, even as nowadays. Especially as a good distraction. So he follows her for a bit until he notices where she was going, and the city part of the city no one dares enter due to villains. And Nizuri went on to the underpass when suddenly metal rods shot out and sort of wrapped around her and slamming her against the wall. Well, well, well. Looks like my boys weren't kidding. A bright little hero girl was flying around without a care in the world. You know, girlie, going into alleyways are dangerous. Deku hides behind a corner as he saw the boss himself, Wolfram. Now, what is a cute little girl like you yourself doing in a place like this? I'm here to help people who lives here. Oh, really? Well, it's such a shame I can't have a hero flying around, messing up with I have going on here. Business here is quite lucrative, you know. So, shit, what do I do? Wolfram is gonna kill her if I don't do anything. Then do something. Huh? Who said that? Behind you. Deku turns around to see the villain in the suit that killed All Might. Oh! Calm down. I don't know if you know this, but I'm not actually here. More like a representation in your mind given you. Huh? A representation of my mind? Yes. Your mind shows this image for me, and if you're wondering what I am your quirk. All for one. Huh? No, my quirk are these holes in my hands. Yes, those holes can steal and give quirks. Steal and give quirks? Yes, the quirk is called All for One. The power to steal and stockpile quirks. The previous user gave it to you before dying. Unfortunately, he could not do any other quirks. And due to all that power was stored in him and the injuries, he died. The man who killed All Might had this power and gave it to me? Indeed. Now I recommend you use the power if you want to save that girl, or you could go home and ignore it, and let her get beaten to death. We can talk about All for One further in detail. No, I need help. Alright then. For a quick explanation on how the quirk works, you need to do is grab the person by the head and activate the quirk. The stealing process, just imagine breathing through your hands. Breathing in will take the quirk. Breathing out will give it to another. Okay. Deku slowly creeps out into the underpass where Wolfram is about to start beating Nizuri to death, along with his men around him. But Deku made a straight dash for Wolfram, grabbing him by the face and did what the All for One's vestige told him to do. Red lightning crackles and energy starts to leave Wolfram and go into Deku. As Wolfram screams in pain and Deku feels a rush like never before, as the energy leaves Wolfram and he falls to the ground, with Deku standing there stunned for a moment, but falling to the ground as well. Wolfram's men were shocked, and so was Nidre, as Deku's body lies there on the floor until suddenly he starts to convulse. As Deku then stood back up, When he opened his eyes, they were glowing, and his voice sounded different when he opened his mouth. Metal manipulation. What an handy quirk. The hell? Deku touches the ground as a glowing bright blue as metal pipes and cables burst out of the walls and grounds, wrapping around the villains. What? That's Wolfram's quirk. Did he copy his quirk? That doesn't seem very important at the moment. More metal bursts out of the ground from a large pipe that slams the thugs, smashing them through a building. The last of the thugs runs out for their lives as Deku stands there. Yes, this will be quite useful. So, he looks at his hands till he looks up at Nijire. Oh, my apologies. I should release you. He touches the metal and bends off of from the wall, as he was freed now. What happened? Did you copy his quirk? More like stole it. He wouldn't need it anymore. Huh? Steal it? Hey, you okay? So she starts to check on him and sees he's complete. So, as he starts to fall over, Nijire starts to think on what just happened, and she wants to know more about this stealing quirk thing, but can't focus on that as she looks over to where Wolfram's body was and see it's gone. Few of the thugs were taking him. So Nijire puts Deku on her back and flies off. After a few hours, Deku opens his eyes to see he's in a hospital. Oh, where am I? You're currently in a hospital. A hero brought you here a few hours ago. Huh? Oh, okay then. I did a checkup on you to be... And you appear to be fine. Your mother will be here shortly now. If you need anything else, just call. I have other patients I need to get to. The doctor walks out. As he sighs, he just stares up at the ceiling, then he brought his hands up to think what just happened. Was it real? Yes, it was. Huh? He looks up to see in the chair Awful and sitting. You're still here? Well, of course. I'm a part of you. Oh, okay. Let's see. I'm hallucinating. The stress of everything had finally gotten to me, and the cost of it all now is forming into you. My therapist will have a field day with this. Is it the same therapist that tried to help you the first year and got his office burned down by Yakuza when he didn't pay for his protection? Or was it the second one who quit on you, or was that the third? Oh god, you're real. Yes. I think the one you're currently talking to will say something about those so that your mother will have to pay for the more sessions. After all, why would he care? Why would he care? He will lose money if he truly helped you. You leave therapy for good. What do you want? Oh, nothing in particular. The old user wanted and schemed a lot. But what I truly want is us to live. So or I guess your quirk, formed me to be a guide on how to use me. Or guess the quirk Awful One. So wait. You're telling me a quirk wants to live like Awful One is living and thinking? To put it simply, yes. And it's a want that you have that to be a hero. Hold on, you want to be a hero? Well, I don't have any wants. It's your wants that I'm here to help. I'm just here to guide you of ways of your quirk. Me, Awful One. Oh, I see. Yes, I've been active and inactive for 4 years since waiting in your in you to take quirks or something, but you never did. Of course, you know anyone you have to. They can't really assure I have their so holes in your hands. Yeah. So why is that? They couldn't tell me what you did. Well, that's because I was formed in the dawn of quirks. Of course, back then, it was known as meta abilities. Oh, you're really old then. Yes, I'm possibly the oldest quirk in existence. The second oldest was One for All, and that died with All Might. Wait, One for All? That is a tale for another time. For now, we should focus on the quirk you currently have, and the other one you stole. The one I stole? So, yes. Allform claps his hands and opens it as a galaxy forms. Oh, what did you do that? I'm part of your mind, so I can make this type of illusions with your imagination. Now pay attention. All for one is this galaxy, a vast emptiness. And this single star right here is the metal manipulation you stole. So I can steal it? I can do with what can I do with it since it's just there? Well, you can bend and manipulate metal with a touch. That's all you can do as of now. Deku touches the bed frame. How do I activate it? Just think on where you want the metal to go. I had a few moments to figure it out when I took over your body for a few seconds. Wait, you what? After you stole the quirk you passed out to make sure you were safe, I took control to ensure our survival. I will do that if I see if we need to. Well, will that be a regular thing? No, only when I need to do my job right. Okay then, so what now? Well, that's for you to decide. To be a hero with the new metal manipulation quirk and you gain or perhaps use other powers to become a villain, like the first user. I don't want that. Well, here it is then. Obviously you can't just go around stealing quirks since people might not like that. You have the same power of the man who killed All Might. Right, so what do I do then? Simply use metal manipulation and make it look like your real quirk. You just discovered what it could do. Alright. Wait, what about the hero who said took me saw me took Wolfram's quirk, or the thugs? Well, the hero, I don't know, we need to worry about. Allform points out a note next to the bedside table, as Deku looks at it and reads it. Hi there, so I never able to get your name or an explanation on your quirk. So, you did to that villain, but I'd like to thank you for helping me. Says, I would have died without your help. So thank you, and I'll keep what happened between us. And if we ever meet again, says, sorry I couldn't stick around. Hope you get better soon. That's good. Wait, how did you know that you left a note? I can see through your eyes. You just were using them now. As for your other worries, like that thugs and villains, who are they gonna tell? Heroes? They might as well be throwing handcuffs on themselves and throw themselves in prison. I guess. But now, just because you have metal manipulation, that doesn't mean you know how to use it to its full effectiveness, so you must train with it. Within 10 months till UA. There'll be plenty of time to get the basics down. Right. As we cut to a warehouse where Wolfram is touching metal, trying to bend it, but it can't. No, no, no! What is happening? Why can't I feel my quirk or use it? Maybe it will wear off, boss. You can't feel your quirk? Everyone turns around to see the head of the Yakuza himself, a villain known as Overhaul. Overhaul. Tell me, what I heard was wrong? No, it wasn't. Some brat snuck up on me and did something. I can't feel or use my quirk anymore. And that kid used Wolfram's quirk. We think he copied it or stole it. Stole it, you say? We don't know. That's just a dumb theory. Only one man could do that, and he's dead. Though the more time passes, the more this theory starts to look more like a reality. Tell me, where you had your quirk stolen? In my territory, at an underpass in Mosutafu. Good to know. Now, you tell me what kind of kid it looked like. Why, so you, white hair and red eyes with freckles. You moron! Wolfram grabs the thug by the shirt, but immediately Overhaul grabs Wolfram and exploded him. So the thug falls over and covered in Wolfram's blood, as Overhaul sighs. You're now in charge. I'm in charge of you. And your first assignment is to find this kid. Right. You're not gonna kill me, right? No. Not as long as you prove yourself useful to me. Right. I can do that. I'll find that kid. Good. I can't have anything... everything I've worked so hard to come to ruins. Not when my next line of product will come out. No, go and get all you can and hunt that kid. Right. But can I ask why we're going after this kid? I mean, he could be just copied Wolfram's quirk. I guess my real question is, why is he on your radar? If he truly took Wolfram's quirk, he could be dangerous. Especially if he decides he wants to be the next awful one. The Yakuza suffered under his rule for far too long. So we were nearly extinct. But now we're in control. And if he's back, or this kid has this power, I either need him to join us or use the product to destroy that quirk of his. Right. I'll get right on that. Good. Contact me when you find him. Understood. The thugs runs out, while Overhaul wipes the blood off his jacket in disgust and walks out of the warehouse, only leaving the bloody puddle of Wolfram metal mask in the middle of the room. End of this part. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please like and subscribe. This lets me know you enjoy my content, and this lets others know this series as well. I know I never really asked this before, so this is new. But I do want others to at least try to enjoy my content. See you all next time. Peace.